Hey guys, what's up? I am Rafael Reich, and well, as you can see, this isn't my studio or something. I am in the middle of a vacation with my family, but I still have to make videos for you guys, so YouTube can pay me. And then today I'm gonna comment a bit about the North America World Championship qualifier and especially about the USA team for Worlds. And also we are gonna talk about how the format looks like after the first tournament with Infinity Forbidden being released, okay? But before talking about those things, I can ask you guys only to please already like this video, subscribe to this channel, please share this video with your friends, and also, if possible, turn into a member of this channel. You can turn into a member by like $3-4, and this would also help us a lot to keep making these videos. And for you, you would get the anticipated content of this channel, so you would be able to check the videos earlier than everyone else, okay? Well, with that being said, let's talk about the event by itself. So, being the first event with the Fiend Smith cards, with the Gimmick Puppet cards, with new Tempai cards, there was a lot of speculation about how the top cut would look like. And if even people were thinking about like a 60 out of 64 decks playing Fiend Smith, or maybe a full top cut of Snake Eyes and maybe some Yubels, this is not what we had over this top 64. We had 40 decks over the 64 playing the Fiend Smith cards, but the Snake Eyes, for example, it wasn't even half of the top cut. Was almost half, I think was 46%, but yeah, it wasn't half. We still had plenty of Yubel Fiend Smiths, but we also had Tempai Dragons, a deck that many people were not thinking on the ability of being able to keep the pace of the Fiend Smith decks, but it showed up as the second best deck of the format. So yeah, it's a pretty good surprise that the top cut wasn't dominated by Fiend Smith Snake Eyes. We still have a lot of things to discuss. For example, the 6 players from the North America team, they look hella nice, okay? First, for the playoff, we have Jose Santiago, a player who has been growing constantly and getting better and better results. We also have Ruben Penaranda, who had one of the best seasons, and since 2022, I think he is one of the best American players of this game. So it's very well deserved to go to Worlds to represent the United States. And then for the main event, some players had to be noted. For example, the champion Aditya Darap is a very good player that got first place on the playoff scene. Like, he was the player who got more points all over the season. But especially, he is one of the guys that was getting close and close every time. We saw him losing in a top 8 of ICS against Paca. He made multiple top cuts at multiple ICSs over the last season. So it's very well deserved him to go to the Worlds. Even though he lost on the playoff, he could back up and go with the main event. And then also, it's very important to talk about Trishula. Yeah, Michael Thomas, aka Trishula TTV, is a streamer. He talks about Yu-Gi-Oh! He lives Yu-Gi-Oh! And he got 3rd place on the Master Duel qualifier. And for North America, the top 2 goes to Worlds. So he missed the spot by one single position on the ladder. So it's very cool and it's very nice to see him. Even after missing the qualification for Worlds, he still can get it over the TCG in like 2-3 weeks after he didn't got it for the Master Duel. Now let's talk about the format. We first have a very interesting look over the top 64 breakdown, because as you can see, we have plenty of other decks. Yes, we have Tempais, Yubel, Fiend Smith, and Snake Eyes, Fiend Smith being the most present ones. But we still have 2 Gimmick Puppets, we still have some Ritual Beasts, and we have plenty of different decks. But when we look this after the top 64, when we go further for top 32, for top 16, or even for top 8, this diversity doesn't show up as it was seeming to be on the top 64, because we have on a top 64 a very different tournament. It's 2 different tournaments: the tournament of the Swiss rounds and the tournament of the top cut. Having a better deck in your top cut is way more important, because if a moment on the top cut, everyone knows everything about everyone deck. So you are not gonna play against anyone that is not gonna know that you are playing Tenpai. So in top cut, if you lose the dice roll, you are expecting to be going first Tenpai Dragon player. And if you are playing against, for example, a Ritual Beast, if you are playing against a Labyrinth, this kind of information is very, very useful. It's very important to have, because if you don't have so, in the Swiss rounds, you can easily choose to go first against a guy that is a Tenpai Dragon. That's why I think Tenpai Dragon got first place in Swiss undefeated, because how the things went in Swiss in Top Cut, they are very different. And then when we are looking for the top 8, for example, we had 5 Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, 2 Yubel Fiendsmith, and a single Tenpai Dragon. And out of this Top Cut, none of the Tenpai Dragons could make into the top 4. We have 3 Fiendsmith Snake Eyes and 1 Fiendsmith Yubel. And I gotta say, I don't dislike the Fiendsmith Yubel at all. This deck has a very big problem about being not able to play as many going second cards or tech cards like hand traps, for example. But it's a very strong deck to go first. I think it's even more stronger than the Snake Eyes. I still think Snake Eyes is a better deck than Yubel, because can do better while going second. But it's almost impossible to stop the Yubel deck while they are going first. And many people were trying. As we can see on Aditya Darap deck list, he was main decking plenty of Bestials. In his 45 cards deck, he was playing 20 hand traps, and some of them were Bestials. And also we can also check about how popular the Phantasme card, the Phantasme also was, because many players, many of the good players, the pro players, they were looking at this format and they were like, okay, there is now no reason to try to interrupt your opponent with simple hand traps, because if you go, for example, he normally summons Snake Ash, we Veiler them. They special summon Jabal Star, we Murder them. They are just gonna make the Moon of the Closed Sky, and they are gonna proceed to make full Fiendsmith combo to get your plays going. So that's why we seen the card of Ghost Mourner going down. Yeah, if it was a mandatory 3-off before Infinity Forbidden, right now, at this moment, I don't even think you have to play 3 cards. And many players didn't play the 3rd copy of Ghost Mourner. So that's very interesting to note. And then the way to lead with the format then is to playing hand traps that are also monsters. Playing the Bestials, playing the Phantasme, because they are gonna interrupt your opponent. In the case of the Bestials, you can take out the Fiendsmith cards from their graveyard. You can take out maybe an IP Masquerena your opponent is trying to put into the spell trap zone with Flamberge. So you have plenty of ways to get value of this Bestial. And also, it's gonna be a monster on the field. So your opponent has to play around this monster, because if he didn't make so, you are just gonna go for battle phase, you're gonna attack with the Bestials, you are gonna attack with the Phantasme, clean the board, and you are still gonna have the body to be able to play in to make link summons, or even in the case of the Bestials being a level 6 monster, you can also go for Beatrice, for example. So you have many options that you can get just by simply putting your monsters on the table, just by using monster hand traps that summon themselves. And I think this is something that we are gonna see way more for the next event, because yeah, if we now have the North America players for Worlds, in this weekend now we are gonna know the European players for Worlds. And it's way easier for the good players to make a better deck for an event that is the first event of a collection. But now for the European event, many players that wouldn't do so well if they didn't have the previous information from a previous tournament, they now have all the information, all the streams, all the FOBs from the American players over the North America World Championship qualifier. So it's very interesting to see how the things are gonna develop. Because yeah, for me at least, in my mind, I was like, okay, it's gonna be just Fiendsmith Snake Eyes. We are not gonna see many other decks on the top 64. And well, it wasn't even 50% of the top cut, so who knows? Who knows how the things can go for Europe? I think, right now, if I can just like give a random guess, I think for Europe, it's gonna be 50% or more of the top cut consisted of Fiends with Snake Eye. Because after the North America, we had the development of the format. So now everyone is gonna be more prepared for decks like Gimmick Puppet, for example. They're gonna know how to play against Gimmick Puppet. But they also are gonna be able to masterize in their Fiendsmith Snake Eyes decks. They are gonna be able to check how is the better way to play, how are the better lines, which are the better tech cards you can play. For example, you are gonna see Ghost Mourner going down. It's not gonna be a mandatory 3-off anymore. So this kind of things is gonna happen, and it's gonna change the dynamic on this game. Well, again, congratulations for all the 6 players qualified to the World Championship by representing the North America team. These are just my impressions all over the format. And with that being said, please again give me a like, subscribe, share this video, and see you next video. Goodbye.